Hello all YouTubers, I am the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning back into my presentation for February 19th, 2019. In today's video, we're going to talk about Winter Storm Petra and how it is going to petrify the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast with all types of precipitation. We're talking here sleet, freezing rain, snow, and rain. So stay tuned for that. As always, please consider clicking the subscribe button. And I just want to thank you all for helping me reach and bypass 100 subscribers. I'm very proud. Thank you to all of you who helped me achieve that goal. And also, please, once you subscribe, please ring the bell notifications. Do me a favor and do yourself a favor, and please subscribe and ring the bell notifications. So I'm going to show you now weathermodels.com, which is a premium model tracking site. So I'm going to use the free version. However, even though you might notice over here on the left it is 2 days old, that is okay because the Euro forecast, the European model, hasn't really changed over on the past 2 days. So this information is still relevant. Okay, so you can see this is valid for 12Z on Wednesday. So this is basically like mid-morning on Wednesday. And you can see closer to that area of sleet and freezing rain. And some of you might be wondering, well, why is there heavier snow closer to the area of ice? And that's because usually when the snow, like just to the north of the ice, the snow and the ice where they border, okay, usually temperatures when the snow is closer to the area of ice are going to be in the 30s. So, right before you transition over to ice in your area, so maybe about like a couple hours before you transition over to ice, up until that transition over to ice, your temperatures are probably going to be in the 30s. And that's going to cause those snowflakes to be very big. They're going to be larger when they're in the 30s. And the snow is going to come down heavier. So that's why the heavier snow bands are likely as you get closer to the area of freezing rain. Now, and this is precipitation type and the rate as well. And I'm going to show you some ice and snow totals as well. And you can see eventually by Wednesday mid-morning afternoon it will make its way into the region. Okay, so I'm thinking about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning for this region here. But by, let's say by around noon, the snow should make its way closer to New York City, and maybe even northern New Jersey might start to get some flurries. And we do see some heavy icing potential. Okay, we're talking about potentially inch of ice, possibly, maybe closer to 3/4 of an inch. This ice is nothing to mess around with. And then you can see eventually transitioning over to that freezing rain, as you can see right here. And the snow, okay, you might be wondering, well, if you're going to the south and west, it gets warmer. So how come there's more snow down here as opposed to in the northeast? Say, like, Boston's not going to get too much out of this, but Maine will. But, like, why is, like, D.C. or, like, let's say Hagerstown, Maryland get more than Boston? This is because the snow band is going to kind of weaken as it heads north. So you're closer to the area of Washington, D.C. and Hagerstown, Maryland, State College, Pennsylvania, Northern Virginia, Eastern West Virginia, closer to the vicinity of that area, you're going to have more snow because, as you saw, okay, there's going to be a very heavy band of snow. Now, where it's going to set up, we're pretty certain now it's going to set up somewhere right in here. And how far north that makes it up, I think if that heavy snow band might make it up to here, and then it just, after this line, it just tapers off. That heavy snow band. There still could be some snow, but it won't be quite as heavy. And you can see once that storm pulls out, temperatures will warm up. It will have a warm day on Thursday for a lot of spots, maybe the exception of northern New England because they are always cold. But areas mid-Atlantic, coastal northeast, even parts of the interior northeast could bypass the 50s potentially in some spots. So how much ice are we talking about? Well, 6-hour freezing rain accumulations show that if we look here, the maximum on this graphic that you see right here, the maximum is 0.8 of an inch. That is the maximum that you see. Okay. And you're going to find that in eastern Indiana. That's 6-hour ice total, 0.79 inches. That is a lot of ice. It's going to be a huge ice maker. But you can see areas in like eastern West Virginia, western Virginia, potentially pick up 0.3 of an inch of ice, maybe even 0.4 of an inch of ice in just a 6-hour period, so something to watch out for. And then as we head to hour 78, you can see the maximum ice total here is 0.87, and that's going to be found in the northern tip of West Virginia. not the northwestern tip, the northeastern tip actually of West Virginia. You can see in other places potentially up to 1/2 of an inch of ice, especially in northern Virginia. Central western Virginia may be picking up 1/10 of an inch of ice in a 6-hour period. You can see some moderate icing also in western Pennsylvania. I will actually show you a map of the watches and warnings that are currently out with Winter Storm Petra. And you can see right here, you can start to see that ice move a little bit farther. Now, southern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and even parts of New York starting to get a little bit of ice. Okay, southwestern New York, Binghamton, Buffalo, maybe 100th or 1,000th of an inch if you're lucky, maybe 100th of an inch in northern Pennsylvania. It's not because you're not going to see less ice, it's because it hasn't gotten to you yet. Okay, so don't worry. I mean, not too many people are ice lovers. I'm a snow lover. Okay, but if you happen to be an ice lover, okay, you can see some ice potentially coming in. Maximum is 0.47 inches. That is going to be found in this zone right here. Okay, that's where we're going to have potentially 1/2 an inch of ice. That's absolutely sick. Okay, where I am in Delaware, I don't even know when was the last time we picked up that much ice. That's a lot of ice. You can see 1/2 inch of ice potentially coming for Boston. You can see maximum is 0.48 inches on this graphic. Now, onto the snow totals. If you're a snow lover, okay, at least where I am, school is officially closed. And you can see, as we head through time, once the storm is over, we're talking about, let me move it right here just to be safe. Okay, 5 days. Boston, that's saying that Boston can pick up 7 to 9 inches. And looking at the latest run, I really don't think that's actually true. But we do see 6 inches in this area right here, just to the southwest of Philadelphia. Northern Delaware, back west on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, back west on I-70, maybe south I-81, you could get some pretty decent snows. 6 to 10 inches is possible, but I do think that's kind of shifted now. So I think the areas in the mountains, like say right here, could get potentially 6 to 10 inches of snow, with areas elsewhere getting about 3 to 5 inches of snow maybe. And then now you go to our graphic, okay? Here is our winter storm warning, shown in pink right there. Okay, this is for right now. That's where Winter Storm Petra is now. It is petrifying the upper plains and Midwest. But there is a lot of areas in this Midwest and East that are at least under a winter weather advisory. I mean, this whole area, this is absolutely huge. Okay, so pretty much if you live in the interior Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, coastal Mid-Atlantic, Midwest, upper Midwest, Central Plains, even parts of the Southern Plains, as maybe like Oklahoma, Northern Texas, you are at least under a winter weather advisory. I know these areas in hot pink here, you are under a winter storm warning. Now I'm going to take you to one of these areas and kind of take you up close a little bit to see how much snow you could possibly get according to the National Weather Service. Here is a National Weather Service from Baltimore, Maryland. If you want to look yourself, if you're a meteorologist like myself, just click on that region, go to winter weather, because weather story is provided elsewhere. So you're going to click on winter weather, and then you can see the graphic right here, which I'm about to show you right now. And it shows you that around Hagerstown, Westminster, Frederick, Martinsburg, Cumberland, Maryland, Northern Maryland, and also Eastern West Virginia, you have the potential to pick up 6 to 8 inches. 6 to 8 inches is as far as up it goes on this graph. So your maximum in this area is going to be about 8 or 9 inches. Is your expected snowfall. Okay, Washington, D.C., maybe 4 to 6 inches. Same thing, Baltimore, up the 95 quarter towards Bel Air. And even down the 95 quarter. Down to La Plata could see 3 to 4 inches. Fredericksburg, Virginia could see 3 to 4 inches. And once you go down to 95, the total will start to weaken. Unless you go in the mountains. So like west on I-81, I-68, I-66. Once you head westbound, you're going to encounter some heavier snowfall totals, especially if you hit the mountains. So please be very careful if you are out and about and have to travel. If you do not have to travel, I would recommend staying inside. Now, in terms of high-end amounts, this is like at the most. How much could you possibly see? That is not it. Here we go. So at the most, these orange areas you could see 12. I wouldn't even see 12 to 18. I'd say like 12 to 15 at the most. Okay, you can see 1 in 10% chance of higher snowfall than this. Okay, you can see some 12-inch amounts, a lot of 8 to 12 inches. And I think 8 to 12 inches could certainly be likely, actually, in this area, especially in the mountainous areas. 8 to 12 inches could actually be likely. I don't think D.C. could get 7 inches, but it's certainly possible. Of course, up 95 towards Baltimore and Bel Air. Maryland, you could have a lesser chance of seeing 7 inches. But then again, it is still possible. Fredericksburg, high-end amount is 6 inches. Lexington Park, your high-end amount is 5 inches. Now, low-end amount. Now, I like looking at low-end amount. Well, I thought you were a snow lover. Yes, I am. But I like looking at the low-end amounts because this is a 90% chance of higher snow. So this is what I'm basically guaranteed. Now, do I take this for granted? No. But can I mostly take this for granted? Yes. So everywhere in this area, I repeat, everywhere in this area is guaranteed a coating. Okay, about 90% of this area is guaranteed at least an inch or two. Okay, and even some areas in the mountains of Virginia and northern Maryland and eastern West Virginia, you're pretty much guaranteed 2, even 3 inches. Okay, DC, you're guaranteed an inch. Same thing with Baltimore, Bel Air. But down here, towards the Chesapeake, you're only guaranteed about a coating. But then again, you're probably not going to get a coating. That is just a very low-end amount. Again, ice amounts at a lot of spots. I know the Euro model was showing a lot more. This is showing about maybe a 1/10 of an inch to a 1/4 of an inch at a lot of spots. Annapolis, this is saying no ice, which I kind of do believe. As you get closer to the Chesapeake, your warmer air is influenced, and you're not really going to see much in the way of ice because you're going to have a warmer air coming from the south once the storm passes on by, and we have that switch over to rainfall. Now, and again, please be very careful traveling on the road. I know there's been 50-car pileups because of this storm, so this storm is saying don't mess around with me, okay? Now, this is the Winter Storm Severity Index, the latest Winter Storm Severity Index. So this is kind of showing you where the worst conditions could be. And you can see in this yellow area, this includes northern Delaware, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., okay, as well as the mountains of eastern West Virginia are in that area of moderate. Now, I can show you what that means. Basically, little speckles in the mountains of eastern West Virginia, maybe even major, but majority of the area, about 90% of the area, maybe 93% of the area, is at least under a minor Winter Storm Severity Index. Okay, this is a very neat product, and I will show you what all this means. So, if you're in the area of limited, which is this very, very light green, okay, very light green here that you see there, it's like a white green. Okay, if you're in limited, small accumulations of snow or ice is forecast, minimal impacts, if any, expected. In general, society goes about their normal routine. If you were in that dark shade of green, which is the majority of this area, okay, that darker green, Philadelphia, Dover, Ocean City, Charlottesville, Fredericksburg, York, Pennsylvania, those kind of areas, in the dark green, this is roughly equated to a National Weather Service advisory level. It's like a winter weather advisory. Minor disruptions primarily due to those who are not prepared. None to even minimal recovery time is needed. Now, once you get into the moderate range, this is when things get a little iffy. Okay, it's like I said, in these areas of light yellow, this is your area of moderate for the Winter Storm Severity Index. Okay, and this is roughly equated to a National Weather Service warning level criteria. Does that mean all the time? No. Okay, I am under a moderate right there. Okay, but I am not under a winter storm warning. Is there the potential? Yes. I think we could get bumped up to a winter storm warning. Definite impacts to those with little preparation, perhaps a day or two potentially to recover in some spots for snow and ice accumulation events. And that little specularized shade, nobody's in an extreme, but you can still read that. But a couple spots in the mountains of eastern West Virginia are under major. If you happen to live there, I will read you the impacts. Significant impacts even with preparation. Typically several days to recover in time of snow or ice accumulation events. And if you ever happen to be in extreme, this is historic, widespread severe impacts, many days to at least a week of recovery time needed for snow and ice accumulation events. And if you're in the gray area, no threat at all. Now, snow amount is the same exact thing as the Winter Storm Severity Index, basically. So if you're right here, you're going to have a moderate snow amount, which means like potentially 4, 5, 6, even 7 inches. I'm thinking more along the lines of 4 to 6 inches. And you can see along the eastern mountains maybe a little bit of snow. Okay, I think there should be much more than that. Now, ice accumulations. Okay, this is where we're talking major in some spots in the mountains of eastern West Virginia, but a lot of the area in that area moderate, which is what I kind of just read you on that chart earlier. Okay, blowing snow, I'm not even going to really pull up that image. It's a limited threat of blowing snow. No really threats of flash freeze, snow load, no chances of ground blizzard. Now we're going to show you the NAM 12km model and what they are showing, and I will also show you the NAM 3km model. But as for the NAM 12km model, you can start to see as this precipitation heads north, as it runs into that colder air, you're going to start seeing all that rain that comes from the south turn into some sleet, freezing rain, and even some snow. Now, as the storm heads farther north, more of the precipitation will transfer over to snow. Okay, and by hour 17, which is Wednesday morning, okay, a lot of the front end is transferred over to snow. Okay, and like I said, you're going to find these heavier bands of snow closer to the area of warmer air, because when temperatures are in the 30s, those flakes are going to be very fat, they'll be very big, and they're going to fall down very heavily. Now, you go too far to the south, you're going to start running into some ice and even some rain. There will be a nice warm sector that lifts through and transfers everybody to rain. Now I hear a lot of people say this, and I do agree. Once it transfers over to rain, it's not like the first hour you see rain, it's like, okay, we're going to go drive in, have a ball, do donuts on the road. No. Okay, this could take, even when it transfers over to rain, temperatures will be in the 30s for most, if not all, of the duration of the rain event if you live in this area in the mid-Atlantic. Some areas could possibly hit 40 when it's still raining, okay, but most of the areas will still be in the 30s when it is raining. So, with that said, even with our 4-7 inches of snow, we can still take time for that snow and ice to melt off the roadway, so please be very careful. And you can see, and this is around hour 20, okay, and you can see some very dark blues, okay, right next to the area of ice and rain, like I just said, temperatures. Now watch, now you got to watch, because if your temperatures get too warm, you get in the 33, 34, okay, then even if it's snowing, it might not stick. Now for where I am, temperatures will start in around 28, 29, and then rise into the very low 30s, okay, which is good for snow accumulation. You want to start off in the 20s, go into the 30s, and you can see, closer to the area of sleet and freezing rain, you're going to have some heavier patches of snow. So even if you're in, let's say, 2 to 4 inches, 3 to 6 inches, okay, you could still have an isolated higher amount in your area. So please be very careful. Total snowfall, according to the NAM 12km model, okay, it's very excessive. Now, when I've looked at it, okay, it's in my area 13 inches of snow, and I will say I kind of sort of agree with this, actually. Now, am I agreeing with a foot plus in the mountains and like central Pennsylvania, western Pennsylvania, northern Maryland, northern West Virginia, eastern West Virginia? No. Okay, but like, for example, when they're calling for, like, let's say 6 inches in central Ohio or 7 inches here, I kind of actually do agree with that, because this would be like your high-end amount. Like this would be a good example of your highest amount. And once you factor in all the rainfall, this is really when I do agree with this model. Okay, once you factor in all the rainfall, okay, because the rainfall will melt some of that snow, and it's showing, even after the rain, potentially 6 to 10 inches of snow on the ground. Okay, a lot of areas will have a few inches left on the ground after the rain, but to be honest with you, from my perspective, I do not think the rain will really melt much of that snow as long as temperatures stay in the mid-30s. Now, as far as the NAM 3km model goes, okay, this model is a little bit higher resolution than the NAM 12km. Okay, I think that they both provide excellent radar, and as we can see, you can see this high pressure. At first, they'll keep the precipitation to the south, but as the storm advances from the south and west, the high pressure is going to go wee all the way home. Okay, it's kind of get kicked out of the region. You can kind of see, here comes that snow, and again, like I keep saying earlier, closer to the area of ice, there's your heavier snow, like I keep saying. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. Please be very careful out in the roadways. And like with the last winter storm, Maya, okay, there could potentially be a prolonged period of icing. If that happens, less snow will melt because we will not have a transfer to rain that much. Now, at least according to this model, some areas in southeastern Pennsylvania might not even switch over to rain, which I really don't like that, but I think it certainly is possible that some areas could see a prolonged period of icing. Again, okay, well, the only thing I don't like about this model is it's calling for 2 feet of snow in the mountains over here and over here. Okay, this actually calls for more snow than the NAM 12km model, which is kind of strange, because the NAM 12km likes to provide more snowfall, higher snowfall totals than this. Now you see around 6 to 10 inches for a lot of the area. Again, but once that rain comes through, these totals are knocked down to just a few. In widespread areas, maybe just picking up a few inches of snow after the rain is gone. But still be careful. Do not take this for granted, please. Okay? So, we're going to focus now. We're going to go to Washington, D.C. on the National Weather Service. This is a 7-day forecast for what you can expect. And you can see winter storm warning is in effect. Okay, and once we're done, probably I would say from tonight to Wednesday night, I would say about maybe at most 3 to 6, potentially 7 inches. But I don't think that's even going to be the case. I think 3 to 6 inches is a perfect total for you for Washington, D.C. before flipping over to rain. And you see temperatures will warm up through the night. Okay, 33 all the way up to 53 degrees on Thursday. Okay, that is very warm. And then even after the storm is over, no significant cold is in the forecast. So it's something to watch here. Okay, NamModelWindy.com. Okay, maybe around these areas of bands of heavier snow that worked away from the south and west. You can see here's one heavy band, here's another one, here's another one, and there's another one. Okay, this light teal color guarantees you about a few inches of snow. Euromodel, I really like their forecast. Okay, maybe like a few inches, but I do like where it's targeting. This is a very accurate model, targeting about 7 inches here in the mountains of northern Maryland, northern Virginia, eastern West Virginia, south central Pennsylvania. And this could be something to talk about in the next 10 days. Maybe another potential blizzard. Now, I didn't even really want to introduce it to you. Do not get excited. This is over the next 10 days. This is just something the Euromodel is throwing out there. Do not get all excited yet. If in the next 7 days or so the forecast happens to lead towards it, I will talk about it in my videos. But right now, I want you to focus on what's right here. And if you look at the GFS model, okay, I think they're taking this way too far under. At least with this website, 2 inches here, maybe 4.5 inches there. It's calling for no snow at all for DC. Maybe an inch if you're lucky. Don't worry, DC. You will get a lot more than that. So, as we head to our final graphic here, this is the hourly forecast for Washington, D.C. And you can see the snow starting around 5 o'clock in the morning. Notice the temperatures, though. They're starting off at 33, okay? That means, like, where I am, like I said, temperature's going to start in the 20s. So once that snow starts falling, it's going to start sticking. In D.C., you might have to wait for another hour or two, maybe even a couple hours before your snow starts sticking, because your temperatures will be too warm. That's what happens when you live farther south. I'm sorry, DC. You'll still get your fair share of snow. 2 through 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So about that area, 6 to 12, that 6-hour span of moderate, maybe even heavy snow is possible, especially these few hours where you see 100% chance of precipitation. And notice it, and also where areas of highest humidity levels is also more moisture content. Okay, and where the flakes could be big, but 31, 32 degrees. Okay, the snow's going to take a little while to stick. And right in that range, the temperatures are between 32 and 33 degrees. Right around 1 o'clock, maybe as late as 1:30, we're going to see some rain and snow, maybe a little bit of ice. Temperatures in 33 degrees. Once temperatures get above 33 degrees from 2 o'clock on, it is all rain. And it's going to be rain, rain, rain. Okay, and the snow goes wee, wee, wee all the way home. And you can see the rain will continue throughout the overnight, and then eventually early Thursday morning, it will taper off. So DC, I'm saying about 3 to 6 inches for you, maybe possibly a little bit more than that. Thank you for watching my presentation for today. As always, please subscribe, ring the bell notifications, like, share, and comment on my videos. Again, if you're one of those cities affected by Winter Storm Petra, put your city down in the comments section below, and I will try my best to give you my forecast for that city and your location. Thank you for watching. I am the Weather Dude, signing off. Till next time.